Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today this is the multi-strand pendant necklace and matching pair of earrings that I will be making. Most of the components came from the bargain bead box for the month of December 2023. And if you're interested in the bargain bead box, I will have all the information in the description box below. I highly encourage you to go check them out, and when you do, you want to use my code. That code is Casey2, and that code will get you $2 off your first month's subscription or $2 off your first order from their website. So if you would like to see how this matching set came about, then stay tuned. I'm going to start with the tools that I will be using. I have 2 sets of chain nose pliers, 1 set of round nose pliers, 1 set of cutters, 1 set of crimping pliers, and 1 set of industrial cutters. I am also using 49 strand bead along wire in the color Bright, which is this silver color. And I always get the 100 feet just because I go through it so quickly. And the reason I said industrial cutters is because I used them to cut the chain. I make it a habit to cut anything that's a little bit thicker, like chain or memory wire. I cut it with my industrial cutters. And when you do that, it saves your jewelry cutters. So if you were to cut memory wire or thicker chain with your jewelry cutters, it can actually mess them up or make them dull or even break them. So I always recommend having a good solid set of industrial cutters just to make your other tools last longer. And I want to briefly mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set, and as the name suggests, these tools are by far the most comfortable tools that I have found. They are very high quality, very well made, and for me the biggest thing is the size. They're made quite a bit larger than typical jewelry making tools. A lot of times, for whatever reason, they will be made quite a bit smaller, like this. You can see the handles on these Casual Comfort tools are quite a bit larger. They just seem to be made for adult size hands. And I will have these linked in the description box below, along with everything else that I use that did not come from the bead box. I will also link below the opening video that I did for the bargain bead box, and that will have a detailed description of everything that came from the bead box. From my own stash, I'm going to be using these bead caps, these flower bead caps. I'm also going to be using all the findings, the crimp covers, crimp tubes, wire guardians, jump rings, and a lobster clasp. And I'm also going to be using this bail with the design on it. I absolutely think that is beautiful. So I've already cut a piece of wire, and it's about 13 inches long. And here's how I start it. I'm going to put on a crimp tube and a jump ring and a wire guardian. I'm going to put it through one side and wrap it around, put it through the other. And you want to make sure that jump ring is up in the wire guardian, and I'm going to pinch it closed with my fingers. And you want both ends of the wire in that crimp tube. And I'm going to pull on the longer end because I definitely don't need the tail quite that long. And I know these parts are small, but I want to make sure I separate that wire so that it's not crossed under the crimp tube. I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second divot. Give it a good smash. Turn it on its side. Go in with that first divot, give it another smash. And I'm going to go in with that flat part on the end of the crimping pliers and give it the final smash. And that gets it nice and snug. I'm going to take that crimp cover, hold the end like this, and put the crimp cover right on top of that smashed crimp tube. And then flip it up. Go in with my chain nose pliers. Give it a gentle smash, and then I want to go front to back on that crimp cover gently so I can give it that round shape. And that's how I start each strand. So now it's just the order of the beads. So for my own stash, I have these really beautiful kind of teal colored 4mm pearls, and they went perfectly with the color palette for this month's box, kind of a green blue color. So I'm going to start with one of the 4mm pearls, and then I have a bead cap on either end of one of the 8mm beads. And you pull it all the way down, You want to put that tail through those first couple of beads, just like that, and you want to do this exact thing 2 more times. So here is that first section, and we're going to add one of the twist beads and one more pearl, just like this. And the next section are these beautiful 10mm beads, same bead caps, same pearl. Do this 1 more time. All right, so here is one side. And now this center component is also going to have the pendant on it. So right now, I just set this down for a second, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that pinch bail and put it on the top drilled pendant. Just like that, and then you pinch it closed. And there is that bail, so pretty. And this middle part, I have 2 of the 4mm beads and then 2 of the 2mm spacer beads. This is going to be the center component. So I'll push it down, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the bail on. And if you hold this in place, that bail should move freely over that center piece. And it's going to hang, of course, like this. Now, we're gonna go ahead and do this exact same pattern on the other side, and then we'll meet back up. And here we go. Here is the full strand. And now we're going to close off this end. I'm gonna put on a crimp tube, a jump ring, and a wire guardian. Put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other. You want that jump ring up in that wire guardian, and then I'm gonna pinch it closed with my fingers. And both ends of the wire through that crimp tube. Take the tail and pull it down. And now you want to take the end and put it through the first couple of beads. Just like that, and then pull it down. And you want to pull it pretty snug. Now you also want that balance where you want your strand to be flexible. You don't want it to be too snug, but you don't want any gaps in there, so you want to pull it pretty snug. And I'm going to take my crimping pliers and go in there into that second divot. Give it a good smash. Get that taco shape, turn it on the side. Go into that first divot, give it another smash. And then I'm going to go in with that flat part at the end and give it the final smash. And that gets it really snug. And then I'm going to take that crimp cover and put it right on top of the smashed crimp tube, and then flip it up. Go in with your chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash. And I know it's hard to see on the other end, but you're going to go front to back, give it a gentle smash so it has that round shape, kind of folded in. Then I'm going to take that tail, get as close as I can with my cutters, and then I'm going to go in with my nail and push that nub into the next bead, just like that. So here is the longer focal strand. You can see it started and closed off in a very, very similar way. So I have already made the shorter strand for this necklace, and it's made in the exact same way. So here it is. And as you can see, the starting and closing off is the exact same way. It's just smaller beads. I used the same 4mm pearls, the same spacer beads. The other beads that I used came from the bead box. So I had these bicone crystals and then these 2mm rondelles. And then I used a simple pattern all the way across. And the way I do my length of the strands in a multi-strand necklace that works for me is I usually try to go 1 inch off. My longer strand here is about 8.5 inches, and my shorter strand here is about 7.5 inches, a little bit shorter, about 7.25. So it usually works for me to be off by about 1 inch or so for it to hang properly on a necklace. All right, so now we're gonna put everything together, and I'm gonna be using these really cool, really pretty Celtic knots. So I'm gonna use the jump rings that are on the end of each strand. All right, open. And I'm going to connect it to the outer side of this Celtic knot and close the jump ring. And then the inner strand, open, go into the other side of the Celtic knot, and then close, just like that. And then we're going to connect the other side the same way. All right, so here we are. Very pretty, and you see how that hangs just right with that inch or so difference. So now we're going to put the chain on. Take a 4mm jump ring, open it. You're going to put it on the top part of that loop there and connect it to the last link. Close the jump ring. Get another 4mm jump ring, open, opposite last link, and the lobster clasp. Just like that, and close it. And you're going to connect the other chain the same way. Just instead of a lobster clasp, you're going to have a 5mm jump ring. All right, there we go. And now we can connect it. There's the clasp in the back, and there's the final piece. So we will set this aside while we make the matching earrings. All right, so here is the matching earring that I came up with, and we will make the other one together. So the first thing we'll do is we'll make the components. I'm going to start with an eye pin. And here is the simple order. We have the bead caps with that 10mm bead, 4mm pearl, 2mm spacer. And with the eye pin, I want to try to line up the loops. I'm going to go in with my round nose pliers just above that top bead and bend it just like that. Bend it back with my fingers. Go in with my cutters, and I'm going to go back in with my round nose pliers and close that loop. Kind of curl it closed, just like that. And for the component at the bottom, I'm using a ball end pin, and I have one of those twist beads, a 2mm spacer, and a bicone crystal. Go in just above that bicone, bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and then you want to leave this one open just for a few moments. So now, as you can see, we have some beading chain in here. I cut 1 inch approximately, and on the end there, I've put on a 1.5mm round spacer bead. I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second divot, give it a good smash, turn it on its side, go into the first divot, give it another smash, go in with that flat part at the end, and now you're going to take one of the clamshells here, put the chain through that middle, pull it down to the end, over where that crimp tube is, and pinch it closed, just like that. And now on the other side, you're going to have to put that clamshell on first, or you won't be able to get it on. Just like that, let it fall down. And then the same thing on the other side. You're going to hold that crimp tube right at the end. Go in with the crimping pliers into that second divot. Give it a good smash. Taco shape, turn it on its side. First divot. Go in with the flat part on the end. Give it another smash. Then you're going to take that clamshell, pull it up where that crimp tube is in the middle, and pinch it closed. Just like that. So now we're connecting these two to this. And that bottom where you left it open, go ahead and connect it to one side. Go in with your round nose pliers and curl that loop closed. Just like that. And this eye pin at the bottom, you're going to have to open it up a little bit, connect it to the other side, and close it, just like that. And now very quickly, we will put on the ear wire, connect it to that loop at the top, and close it right back. So here are the earrings. I'm going to set everything up on my display so that we can see it better. All right, so here it is. And I am very happy with how it came out. I absolutely love this pendant. I see moving water in it, and to me that just adds to the appeal. I love it, and I think that bail really sets it off. Now, one change that I did make where the strands are connected to the Celtic knot, I had them on the side and I changed them both to the center on either side. And I do think that looks quite a bit better. When I originally put it on the display, it just wasn't hanging right for me. I didn't like the way it looked, but now I think it looks really, really nice. And once again, if you are interested in the bargain bead box, and I definitely think that you should be, I'll have all the information in the description box below. I definitely encourage you to go check them out, and when you do, you want to use my code. That code is Casey2, and that code will get you $2 off your first month's subscription or $2 off your first order from their website. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos just like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.